What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Matty B. Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thank y'all very much for tuning in. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Yesterday we had round 13 at AMA Supercross at Nashville go down, and we're going to do a little post-race review. We're going to keep it a little bit on the shorter side today. I'm away from the homestead. I'm at my parents' house away on vacation, so not going to go super deep into it, but in the 450 class, we had Hunter Lawrence get another win, a rebound after a couple of bad races in a row, and he did so while a couple of his main title rivals, Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac, did not have the best nights, especially not Eli Tomac. Title chances are starting to look a little bit bleak for ET, but 450 class, Hunter started to assert some dominance at the top here late in the season. In the 250 class, we had some more Cole Davies domination. Dude can't be touched, and he had Seth Hammaker going full Benjamin Franklin trying to catch him. Seth left it all on the track, but ended up crashing, couldn't catch Cole, and then ended up kind of cutting the track on the way back on. I mean, he missed like one bail and caught another penalty. The AMA's on fire with the penalties this year. They're catching a lot of flack from all the riders, fans, etc. But another penalty in the contract, but that moved my guy Devin Simonson on the Club MX Yamaha up to his first ever podium. So hate it for Seth, love it for Devin, but we'll get into all that stuff and much more about the race. But before we do, got to give a huge thank you and a shout out to the channel sponsors. They're the ones who make all this possible, so please do me a favor and go check them out. Huge thank you to ASV Inventions, home of the unbreakable lever. If you lose talent way too often on the bike like myself and you crash and break levers and stuff, then definitely check out ASV. They can help you solve that. Thank you to Sirius Studio. They can take care of all your merch needs, shirts, sweatshirts, hats, you name it, they got it. And then a big thank you to the DesignLabCo.com. They got some great designs in their lab at their co, and if you need anything graphic wise, then definitely look no further than there. I have links and discount codes and all that fun stuff in my video description, and if you guys buy from them, a small portion of the sale goes to me to help keep the channel going. So if you guys are supporting them, you are literally supporting me. Hope you enjoy the video. All right, first off, before we dive into the results, just some thoughts on the track. We had the day race, so, it was kind of in the contract for the sun to be shining and bake the track out. It was the total stank dog spec. It was super baked, but yeah, very gnarly conditions, super tricky. I mean, we had ruts, we had blue groove, hard pack, sand, everything in between. You had a gnarly sand triple into that sand section. It was pretty cool to see the battle between airtime and staying low, and then don't even get me started on the whoops. Oh my gosh, I have no idea how those guys even went through them all night. It looked like this was a rare time where between practice and the race, they didn't really fix them. They just left them all curbed out and jacked up. So absolute insanity for pretty much anyone other than Cole Davies, even though I saw him do a little side-to-side swap a couple times. But super brutal track conditions. Did not look any fun at all. Definitely didn't look very forgiving, but that's why they're the best in the world. They got to tame gnarly stuff like that on the regular every weekend. But now we'll go ahead and breeze through these results, starting with the 250 East class. And with the win, Cole Davies, another dominant ride, and the dude just can't be touched. I mean, I'm kind of running out of stuff to say about this dude, about how good he is and this and that. I mean, I'm starting to hit the stutter national, even just trying to think of more stuff to say about him. Got the choke on, my bike bogged on the face of the triple there, but yeah, can't be touched. I mean, there's really no weakness in the game. He doesn't even have to hole shot, and he'll just march his way right to the front without a problem in the world. It's kind of crazy, actually, that Hammaker's been able to take him down in practice for the fast laps a few times, but when the gate drops, especially when it counts in those main events, nobody's been able to hang with Cole Davies. So, especially with that penalty to Hammaker losing a few extra points, he already looked like he was well on his way to this championship. But now I'm thinking he probably wraps it up early. So, great work for Cole Davies. I came into this thing thinking that he and Hammaker were going to fight for this title, and I got to admit when I'm wrong, because I had somehow forgotten how amazing Cole Davies was last year. I mean, I remembered him being good, but I forgot how actually incredible it was. So, yeah, not much more to say about Cole Davies. And then in the second spot, cool to see some more signs of life out of Nate Thrasher. He had an early season lull. Didn't see much out of him at the beginning few rounds, but now he's starting to come on strong. He was good at the shootout. Led a race a couple weeks ago until he went ass over tea kettle in the whoops, but this is a good solid finish, a second place. Behind his teammate Cole Davies, I feel like that's about all he can ask for in this Yamaha sweep of the podium there. But yeah, I kind of thought Nate could possibly be a title contender coming into this thing. He's got the potential to do it, and just hasn't played out how we thought it might, especially after hearing a lot about him flying at the test track in the offseason. But I guess he has some nerve damage or something going on with his shoulder, and I've done that myself. It's definitely not anything very fun to deal with. So shout out to Nate for just digging, getting the shovel out, and just fighting through, soldiering through like a warrior. So good job to him. And then this is the heartwarming national, man. I'm so stoked. I'm going to have to cut myself short on talking about this and glazing my guy Devin Simonson in the P3 spot. I cannot believe we're to this point. I mean, I predicted him to be the surprise this year and really impress some people and open some eyes, but he's been absolutely amazing all season. There's been all these flashes of brilliance, but he just hasn't quite put it together for a really good main event result just yet up until last night. And I actually feel like that was one of his worst rides of the season. I feel like he wasn't quite firing on all cylinders. Maybe he wasn't super comfortable with the track. He had gotten passed by Henry Miller, but he ended up getting him back, and then ended up fighting off Dax Bennick on the last lap for what he thought was fourth as well. And that was huge because fighting off Dax, that's what ended up giving him the podium after Hammaker's penalties. So could not be any more stoked for my guy Devin Simonson. He has worked so hard for this. He used to be a little bit pudgy, had a nice gut on him, but now he looks like an athlete. You can tell he's working his ass off. And yeah, talk about a reward. He's got a podium. He's got a sick trophy from Nashville. That's a damn guitar. You love to see it. I feel like this is just the beginning for Simonson. And yeah, I'm running out of words to say, but great job, Devin. We, all the boys, we are so damn proud of you, dude. Way to go. But then finishing off the top five, a fourth for Dax Bennick. Really good ride. I feel like he rode way better than that fourth place shows, but he had that unfortunate incident with Seth Hammaker on the last lap, and it was just wrong place, wrong time for both of them. Right as Dax's rear end slid out, Seth had nowhere to go, just smashed him, and they both ended up in a pile. But for a guy like Dax Bennick, that's usually just an opening round killer, I feel like this has been an awesome season for him. He's shown up at every single round and done really good. He's been really solid all season and pretty consistent, so I feel like this has been a big year for Dax. And then rounding out the top five, a bit of a bummer for Seth Hammaker. He got third, but caught the AMA penalty where he got up, went backwards, and he did skip like one bail. I don't really think that's much of a big deal, but he did skip the bail, and he kind of passed Simonson while doing it, even though he kind of let Simonson back immediately in the loop section. But seems like that wasn't really too big of a deal to get a two-position penalty off that. But I mean, yeah, I guess the rules are the rules, and they are definitely taking them to heart because I don't think he gained too much by doing that, but technically he did cut the bail, and he kind of passed Devin, so they gave him the shaft on that one, all the way back to fifth, and now that championship's just looking a little bit further out of reach from Cole Davies' points lead now. I don't even know what it's up to now, but it's definitely not within spitting distance like it was before this one, so definitely a big hit there for Hammaker. And then great ride for Henry Miller in sixth. Hell, he was actually in the fight for that podium for a little bit. He had actually passed Simonson, and he and that MX6 Cowie team, they're doing a really good job this year. I feel like Henry's a really underrated dude, and he's been a good privateer for a long time, so really cool to see him string together some good results. And then seventh for Cody Schock. Honestly, not quite the season I was looking for from Cody with a T. He got a podium last year, got a second in Arlington, and really took a lot of steps. I thought maybe he would continue to build off that, but maybe he's hit a little bit of a plateau this year. I'm not sure what could be going on behind the scenes, but just not quite the results that I think Cody with a T was hoping for. And then another solid ride for Romano in eighth on the Pro Circuit fill-in ride. Drew Adams is back, but they kept Romano in the cut. They had no choice, and it's cool to see him just stay in that top 10, continue to log laps, and start to get a little bit of a base under him in terms of the race weekends and how those go. But then a ninth for Marshall Welton. Not much to say other than a great job for him to put that MX6 Cowie in the top 10. Dude's probably just waiting until money racing season so he can make some real money. Probably buy another house just off money races, no choice. But rounding out the top 10, Drew Adams. Really good to see him back, and he was way faster than 10th, way better than a 10th. I'm not exactly sure what happened in the main event. I feel like I should know, but one thing led to another. He was only able to get a 10th, but it's still cool to see him back, and he's got a couple more rounds to try and land himself on the box, a top 5, something good before the end of that season. And then just a few standouts while I'm looking through the rest of these results. Great job for Landon Hartson in 11th, Luke Neeson at 12th. That's my guy, doing a really good job after separating 2 shoulders this year, not even just one. He separated both of them. Shout out to my guy Ryder Floyd for making the main, getting a 16th. Cool to see Gavin Towers back from the dead. He's had so many crashes this year. He got himself a 15th. Jace Kessler, first main event of the season. He's an 18th. And yeah, it looks like that's about it. Actually, we got Landon Gordon, dead last, 22nd place. Not what we were looking for in the main, but he showed tons of flashes of brilliance. And yeah, he got subbed in for Caden Dudney. Everybody was saying he got benched, but Starr was saying that he didn't get benched. That was just the plan all along, to get his feet wet and then focus on outdoors. So then they threw Landon Gordon in there, and it was all going really well until that main event. But one thing led to another. For whatever reason, he's at the tail end of the field. But yeah, he's still young. He's just a rookie, and we'll get there when it's time. But that was the 250 class. Then we'll move on to the 450 class. What do you know? Another win for Hunter Lawrence, and he's really starting to take control of this championship with that win. Was starting to slip away from him just a little bit for the couple weeks before with that big crash in the whoops and then dealing with the jammed wrist last weekend. But came back in a big way this weekend, firing on all cylinders and getting that win in dominating fashion. And yeah, I mean, Hunter's been pretty much the full package this year. You know, besides that big crash in the whoops and the bad weekend with the wrist, he's been incredibly solid all season long. He's just been right up there in that top 4. You haven't missed him in that top 4 all season long. And yeah, that's why you see him in this position he's in this late in the season. And now that wrist looks like it's feeling better. And yeah, you really put it to him last night, or yesterday, I should say. for the day race national. And yeah, now nobody really had anything for him, so great job for Hunta. Second for Cooper Webb, a quiet second, but good to see him back on the box. I feel like it's been a pretty rough go for Coop this year, especially from the midpoint of the season onto this latter half of the season. I feel like once he lost a little bit of hope for that championship, it's kind of been spiraling out of control, one thing after another for him. So good to see him back on the box. And then the third spot, Ken Roczen, kind of a what could have been moment, but still at least he's on the podium. And I'm just glad we're not here to talk about how Suzuki cost him another championship, because when they panned to him kickstarting that bike, I thought it was over. I thought he was going to sit there kicking it for 3 to 5 business days, but luckily he got it fired up pretty quick, still managed to get himself on the box, and he's not too far off Hunta. I think it's like a 10-point gap between Hunta and Kenny right now, and then we'll get to Eli here in a little bit. He's even further back, but that championship gap's definitely widened up a little bit, but you guys know why we race. Anything can happen, so Kenny's definitely far from out of it, but definitely a really good step taken from Hunta to take control of this thing down the stretch and maybe even be able to go into management mode like Jet does. But then we got a fourth for Chase Sexton from way, way back. Really good ride, I feel like, to come from that far back to get up to fourth, and especially after not having the best day. You know, he had a big practice crash. I don't think the heat race was the greatest, but he still salvaged himself a decent main event result, and I feel like it says a lot about how this year's gone for Chase Sexton, where we're talking about a fourth place being a decent result. It's definitely been an uphill battle for him all season, and hopefully they stick it out, get that Cali handling a little bit better, and we can get the Chase that's firing on all cylinders coming soon. Then rounding out the top 5, we got a sign of life from Justin Hill. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see him bust out any huge quads or any oppos or anything like that, but he's had a really quiet season back from 10 to 15, I feel like, about every weekend. So really cool to just see this random flash of brilliance from Justin Hill and throwing it right into the top 5. But that's kind of Justin Hill. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes he's going to pop and sometimes he's not. And I say he got 5th. I guess he technically got 6th, but results say 5th because 6th was Dylan Ferrandis on the Ducati. They should have had their first top 5, but then when he went off the track around the sand, he kind of skipped that one corner. And what do you know? He caught that one spot penalty. The AMA had been on it with penalizing guys this year. Some warranted, some not, but Ferrandis was in 6th. And then rounding out this top 10, we got J. Coop. NBA J. Coop with a quiet 7th, Marchbanks 8th. Just good to see Garrett putting it in the top 10 on the Cowie. Saw him testing some outdoors earlier in the week last week, so I'm thinking they're going to be ready for that because he was looking really good. And then 9th place for Colt Nichols. Good to see another top 10 from Colt 45, just stacking them, getting those laps in and getting those good finishes in. We'd love to see that. And then rounding out the top 10, we got Shane McElrath. Didn't hear or see much from him besides that battle with Vince Freese, which I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, but good to see Shane throw it in the top 10. And then a couple more guys to talk about. 11th for Dean Wilson. Great ride for Grandpa Earl. First ride of the season, just jumping right in, balls deep, and almost getting in the top 10. I feel like that's pretty impressive. And then this is a bummer. 12th place for Eli Tomac. He had a crash in the main event, but wasn't really looking super great before that. And just another bit of a confusing day for him. I mean, he was really good in practice, qualified fastest, good heat race. Everything was looking good. You know, the track was hard packed like Colorado, and it was really looking like everything was going in Eli's favor heading into that main event. But dude got almost the last place start, got caught in the back, and just never could quite get going. Then lost the front end in true Marty Davalos fashion, and just never got going after that. Couldn't get anything better than a 12th, and that is a ton of points lost. I think that's like 13 points or something like that lost just on one night. So now he's pretty considerably far back just after that one bad race in the championship. Red plate's gone. Championship hopes are looking a lot bleaker, and I'm really bummed on it. Tomac's a legend. I was hoping we would see some beast mode in this last part of the season and watch him get this thing done, but it's still not over. It's far from it, but it's not looking near as good now after yesterday. And then rest of the 450 class, a 13th for Jorge Prado. Had a crash, bit of a lackluster result there. Then as I'm scanning through the rest of this 450 class, I'm not really seeing a whole lot more I want to talk about, so we're just going to cut the video right now. That's a wrap on today's video. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and as always, please let me know in the comments what you thought of the video, if you liked it, if you disliked it, if you agree with my takes, if you disagree with them, if I'm just a cooked unit idiot, if my content sucks, or anything like that, you know you can send it my way. But yeah, thank you guys again. Really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Free of choice.